before. Here in LA was rhythmic gymnastics at Poly Pavilion at UCLA. My parents took me.
I went there.
Were you there?
Yeah, I didn't. Well, that's when I was just learning about it, and I saw it because I was in regular gymnastics, and I was like, I don't want Mary Lou Retton.
Listen around. That's always the way.
Speed.
All right. First of all, let's talk about sitting here in the Hollywood Hills. You grew up here in LA.
Yes.
Let's talk about just kind of how you all started in acting. Not everyone knows you come from acting royalty, as they say.
Right.
But when you were young, that was not the road you wanted to take, right?
No, I mean, my mom is considered the queen of martial arts, and she taught me dance since I was 4. So I've been dancing, and then I did gymnastics and rhythmic gymnastics, and I was actually on the national team. And so my whole life I was a rhythmic gymnast. You know, my name was Eugenia, rhythmic gymnast, and so that's what I thought of myself as. And then I went to Olympic trials and all of that, and then I did professional shows. But when I quit, I kind of lost all sense of identity. Like, I didn't know what I was anymore, you know? And so I kind of searched for a while for that same passion and something that I'd love. And I think I really tried to steer away from the acting. My mom, you know, my mom was so famous, and we didn't really have a private life, and I felt like whenever we went out, everyone came up to her, and I was like, that's my mom, that's not your mom, you know? And I saw how hard it was. I mean, it's not a fun, easy thing, especially I think in Asia. It's very difficult, and my mom, I think, really wanted me to see that also, you know, that it's just not fun and games and beauty and whatever. So I really stayed away from it. And then when I kind of hinted to her that I might want to do it, she took me on to do this other movie after Crouching Tiger, which she was in. She was Jade Fox. And we did a movie called Flying Dragon, Leaping Tiger, which isn't a spoof, although it sounds like it. And it was a much lower budget. Still, we shot at the same place, which is a beautiful location, I mean, to look at on screen, but like to go there and travel is kind of difficult. You know, their so-called 5-star hotels are like disgusting.
Yeah.
And there aren't toilets and bathrooms, and you know, you're lucky if you have hot water and things like that. But I mean, it taught me a lot, and I think she wanted to kind of teach me a lesson. Well, not teach me a lesson, but just kind of show me how difficult it is, you know. And it was fun to work with my mom, and fun. It was like my first martial arts picture, and I think with my dance and rhythmic gymnastics background, it was just a given. And people in Hong Kong and people here, actually, since I'm her daughter, you know, they kind of just were hoping that I would do that too.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't totally admire my mom and everything that she's done. You know, she still acts today, and she's had a huge, long career. But I really realized that I wanted to go my own way and kind of do my own thing and make a name for myself. And but again, not in any way like because I wasn't proud of my mom. It's just maybe I'm stubborn. But so I came here. I mean, I've always lived here, but I came back, and I got in an indie film, which was like a very low, no budget movie shot on DV called Shot It Sometimes. And it ended up getting nominated for the Independent Spirit Awards, and Roger Ebert was like a huge fan of it and pushed it, so that was really great.
What was that like, going from your first experience being this big martial arts thing, you know, over there, and then coming here and then doing this small indie? Was that, I'm sure that was like a wholly new experience, very different from what you were used to.
Yeah, very different, but I actually felt more comfortable doing this because, again, I was back home, and it was more my style. I felt it was very natural. You know, it's obviously not natural for me to be riding a horse with 2 swords, you know, but I really enjoyed that. It was it was an ensemble piece, and it was just very real, and about relationships and so forth. It was, I mean, shooting, it's not just saying like shooting in Hong Kong and Asia versus shooting here. I mean, shooting different movies anywhere, I mean, it's always going to bring a different experience, you know. So, but when I came and did that, I really enjoyed it, and then I realized that I do love acting, and so I couldn't really deny it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's become the thing that I love again, which is it's so nice to finally find where I fit, where I feel like I belong, and what feels natural to me. So.
What's nice about actually loving it, but also getting the acclaim right off. You mentioned Ebert and having people, you know, kind of validate that you know what you're doing. That must be a great feeling too.
That was really great. And then then I went back to Hong Kong and I shot my first movie there. And I kind of consider that my first movie because the other one really didn't come out, and it was just this one I was the lead, and it was one of the top directors in Hong Kong, and Christopher Doyle, who shoots all of Wong Kar-wai movies. Wong Kar-wai's movies. He was a cinematographer, and I ended up winning a Hong Kong Oscar for that, and for Best Newcomer. And then I came back and I shot some other movies here, and one of them, which was Mail Order Wife, which I loved, and which has kind of gotten a cult following now that it's out, like on cable and stuff. And what I really like is when people come up to me and they're like, "Oh wait," because it's a mockumentary, and they're confused a little bit that they're seeing this person, you know. And then they start quoting lines from the movie, which is pretty cool.
You mentioned the Hong Kong Oscar. Along with that was probably a lot of fame, obviously overseas. Was that a big deal for you? Were you instantly a household name over there?
I think it was a big deal, but the thing is I didn't go there and like stay there. Instead, I came back here, so I didn't really stay to like promote and try and get more work. I actually then did the I-2, the I, which is being remade, and I did the I-2, and I was nominated for a Golden Horse Award there. But I didn't stay because I kept thinking I wanted to be here or international, you know, work everywhere. So I came back, and I do get recognized sometimes over there. But my mom it's been that way kind of, and so it's kind of weird. I don't
Complicated
know.
thing.
Yeah, it is weird. But it's nice though. It's nice.
We'll talk about that, being able to go back and forth. Not everyone could do something like that, and have a built-in
really
audience
lucky.
there. And
I'm really lucky, and I kind of like to go between LA, New York, and Hong Kong right now. I love working in New York too. It's just, I really like the environment, and I've shot a few indies there, and I feel like it suits me. So, but I kind of feel like I fit in everywhere, and it's confusing at times. Like you feel like you're lost, but you feel like you belong everywhere at the same time. I don't know if I can explain that clearly, but so.
Well, doing something like Memoirs of a Geisha, that you have a small part in a major film. Is that kind of thing satisfying, gratifying? Was it a whole other world to be part of that kind of production, different from the big production?
Yeah, it was definitely very different, and I think it was very satisfying because I got to work with Gong Li, who is like my idol. Like I love Gong Li so much, and she was wonderful to me. My mom had worked with Gong Li before, and my mom worked with Michelle and Ziyi, and now I got to work with all of them, and I was very happy. And she took me on sort of as her little sister, and like held my hand between shots and just made me feel really comfortable. And to like meet your idol and have her be so wonderful to you is awesome. It's I'm lucky that happened. So and I learned a lot, I think, from her. She's just so she doesn't have to do anything. Like you just look at her and she has a presence, and I think it's class, and I think it's just something that you just own or you don't. So.
Well, having that yourself, or being told you have that yourself, what's it like for you, kind of being recognizing that kind of thing now, and having more and more people know who you are, and having more roles coming your way? Is this a real exciting time in your career as to what this future can bring this next year or so?
Well, I'd like to hope that it's going to just bring me more work and everything. I don't really consider myself always being known. I think it's always shocking to me when someone comes up and says, "Oh, I saw you in that movie," or whatever. It's nice. It's nice because I feel like the work that I've done, I've been very proud of everything that I've done. I think I've chosen wisely, and I like to take on darker, grittier, dramatic roles. Dark comedy is my favorite, I think, because I think it comes from pain, and it comes, life experience, and I'm proud of what I've done. And so when someone has noticed, recognized something, and I don't have to be like embarrassed by it, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I've made good choices, and I hope that I continue to do so.
Are you ready for fame and success though here, and doing more and more magazine shoots and things like that? More people are going to know who you are in different all realms of the industry. Is that must be kind of a kick?
It is. It's exciting, like to do this photo shoot that I've done. It's really fun to do something totally different. Like I just done a movie, Choking Man, and my character is very happy and very cheerful, like nice and peaceful. And to then do a shoot where it's like dark and gritty and rock and roll is really fun, because that's what being an actor is about. Being able to play different roles and do things that aren't or are all parts of you. I do have all of those personalities. So.
How do you spend your time when you're not working on one of these interesting movies?
I like to spend a lot of time with my friends, like my good friends, and some of them are writers and directors, and others just normal people who I just hang out with, and we like to be creative. I like watching movies. I like watching the Food Network and cooking, baking cupcakes. Exactly that.
Side industry.
So, yeah.
Other than Gong Li, who have been some of your kind of inspirations in the industry, male or female, that you kind of look to their careers as someone you aspire to follow?
Well, Maggie Gyllenhaal, is that how you pronounce? Is, I think, my main idol here. Like, I feel like her roles have been so awesome and edgy, and I would love to have a career like hers. I mean, I really admire her. And Gong Li, Maggie Chung, my mother. My mother, her career, as I think the longest, has spanned like 40 some years, and she's awesome. She's tough. She's strong. She can still do more. She does her own stunts, and she just, I was definitely well mannered when I was a kid.
Yeah.
No punishment, please. But yeah.
Everything from your mom, was anything specifically she told you or still tells you about the industry or about the choices you make, or does everything come from just kind of watching her and seeing what she's done that's kind of inspired you to?
I think what my mom has really taught me is how to be a good person, because I see, even though she's so famous, she's so laid back. My mother is so laid back in how she treats people. She's so wonderful to people, and I think that is what I've learned most, and how she's overcome a lot of difficulty in her life. And I think that's what she's taught me. And I don't really feel like you can teach anyone acting. I feel like you have to have more life experience, and the more that you've had, then the better you are, just because you're filled with things to show, to express, to feel. And she's just taught me, I think what she's worried for me is that I fall really deeply into every character, and she's learned, I guess, from the years that you don't have to fall so deeply. And I'm still unable to do that, and I let myself go totally, and she worries. As a mother, I think that I can't come out. So.
But as an actress, is that the most satisfying part of it for you at this point, to fall into those characters?
Yes, definitely. I think that even if after one whole day of just crying and just feeling like I've been beaten, I seem to play roles where I get beaten up all the time.
Or killed even.
Yeah, get beaten up and whatever. When I go home, I'm so happy. Like, I'm satisfied, because I feel like I let all of that happen, and it's wonderful. Like, I love that draining experience, definitely.
And even doing a photo shoot like this, do you kind of get into character? You look at it as an acting role? Is it?
I feel actually, I normally have a hard time with getting my picture taken or something, but it's weird when the camera is on me, like a movie camera or whatever. I don't feel like I'm myself, so I'm never afraid. And even when I'm shooting photos now, I try and think of it as like that camera, so that I can play a different role, or else I think I'd have a hard time, because I'm generally pretty shy. But so.
Well, that's cool to have that. You say you're shy, but you also have this fearlessness then as a subject in photo shoots, and also as an actress, to choose these kind of roles.
Yeah, I think I'm shy, but I have that part in me, and this, being an actress, allows me to let that come out, So I want to play really strong characters, I think. And I think most of the characters that I had played, whether they started out as maybe a role that, you felt like you needed to take care of her, or she was weak or whatever, they always became much stronger than they were written, and they ended up stronger. And I like that, because I think that that's how I am in my life. Like, you meet me and you might think something, but really, be careful.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah.
Dream co-star, male or female, that or a few that you'd love to work with?
I'd love to work with my mom in a dramatic role. I think we worked together, actually, in Shanghai Hotel. But I'd love to write a piece for us too, together. Male actors. Actually, I think Adrian Brody is pretty interesting, and female Kate Blanchett, Kate Winslet, Meryl Streep. I would love for her to play my mother. There's a lot of Chinese babies adopted, and I think that would be an awesome role. So.
Is it important to have roles that aren't necessarily race?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, is that like is that a goal, or I'm sure there's so many roles you turn down just blanket.
Yeah, I would obviously love to have a role that doesn't depend on race, but the truth is I am Chinese, and I don't have an issue about being that. I'm proud of what I am, and I don't think that I need to raise issues about being Asian American or whatever, because I feel like if you classify yourself as something, you yourself are segregating yourself, And I think it's hard for any actor to get a role, so it's just you being the best possible you. So, and I'd love to just play anything where I could make it real,
If you could just kind of put into words what you hope this next year or two brings when you let yourself just kind of fantasize about your career? What's your dream?
To work continuously and to be challenged and feel drained as much as possible, because really when I'm drained is when I feel most alive, so.
And what did you learn from the gymnastics world that helps you now in Hollywood?
That I was drained every day, and I worked really, really hard. And also that as much as you work, when you get that 1.5 minutes to do your routine, everything might screw up. But then, life continues, and it's not the end of the world. So.
Very good, very well said. So when you're thanking the Academy for the Oscar, you can go back to some gymnastic coach and.
Thanks for stretching me till I died.
Very good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was cool.